Okay, so I mentioned earlier that I went to the hospital earlier in February, so this video here is just to explain sort of what it was like in the psych unit of a hospital, in case anyone wanted to really know, or just they wanted to kind of know my experience of what happened. So here it goes. So starting with things leading up to it, basically I was feeling pretty depressed, having sort of these constant thoughts about the only way to make the depression stop is to die, and just I don't feel that way anymore. So don't worry. I'm just trying to explain sort of what got me into the hospital. I was just constantly thinking those things, and I couldn't really make the thoughts go away. And yeah, I ended up talking to a lot of different people at my school's health center. Basically, they kept saying that I should go to the hospital. I was like, no, hospitals are scary. But eventually, I decided that it would be better if I go, because I wouldn't want something to happen. Well, it's school policy that they take you to the hospital by ambulance. So first police officer arrived, they had to sort through my stuff, pat me down, that sort of thing, make sure I wasn't dangerous. Then the ambulance people arrived. They were all pretty nice, but I was just really scared at this time. So I had to go in the ambulance. They asked me a lot of questions. Then they brought me to the ER. The people in the ER were pretty nice, but I've never been in a hospital before. So the ER was pretty terrifying. There was so much stuff going on, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But the people there were pretty nice. Anyways, I had to change into scrubs. They had to get some of my urine, some of my blood. They had to connect me up to one of those things that monitors your breathing and all that. I had 3 panic attacks there, and they gave me some Ativan to calm me down. Yeah, it was overall pretty terrifying experience being in the ER, but the ER was the worst part of this all, so don't worry. Yeah, they did have to take my blood, which I was not happy about, because I don't like needles or anything like that. So, but at the end of it, I just had to wait for a few hours. My dad came and visited, and all I wanted to do was sleep. That was the worst part of it. So yeah, when I first got in, it was the evening of January 31st, and yeah, they gave me a brief tour of the unit, and all I really wanted to do was sleep at that point. I was exhausted, but they kept waking me up to sign a bunch of different papers, and I didn't really pay attention to what I was signing. I just kind of signed everything. I was like, oh, I want to sleep. I just want to sleep. So it was pretty much my first day. Second day, I kind of woke up in the morning. They had someone come around, knock on all the doors to wake people up. And roommate hadn't moved in after I arrived in the evening. And I eventually got out of bed, even though I really didn't want to. We went into the day room for breakfast. That's where they served all their meals. They had a few different choices, bagels with cream cheese, cereal, and then usually had eggs and bacon, and usually a little bit of fruit too. You could have milk or juice or Crystal Light. Oh yeah, over the time I was there, I drank so much Crystal Light. Yeah, basically in the mornings, they wake you up around 7:30, because breakfast is at 8. And then you have a community meeting soon after that, which is where they go over basic rules of everything, who's going to be on for the shift, what staff members, and we all go around with our goal for the day. That's pretty much how mornings are. And throughout the day we have groups, which are where everyone, they don't force you to go, but you're supposed to go to all of them, and they have different activities. On the weekends they don't have as many groups, and the groups aren't quite as serious most of the time, but they did have a few sort of serious groups. There's stress management group, but they did have more entertaining groups on weekends, such as cinema therapy, as we called it, and they also brought in a puppy for one group, and we got to like give the puppy treats, but the puppy wasn't too good at catching them. Like, kept throwing them. Like, nah, puppy just couldn't catch treats. They had various groups throughout the day. Yeah, during the weekdays they had only more of like the more serious groups, because that's when like the doctors and everyone could be in. So on the weekend only one doctor could come in, and you just saw everyone over the weekend once. Yeah, there were visiting hours around early afternoon and in the early evening. Yeah, people like my family and my roommate came, visited me almost every day, which I really appreciated. They served meals at the exact same time every day. They gave out meds at like the same time every day. Like in the morning and evening, you'd have to line up for your meds, and then occasionally some people had to go for meds at like other times of the day. You just go to the med window. You also had to you had to ask permission for like everything. Like everything was locked up, like the TV, the like, colored pencils, the pens, like anything. Like you had to ask for permission for like towels so you could shower. I had to ask permission for those too. It was a really safe place actually. It'd be very difficult to like seriously hurt yourself. Like I just looked around, noticed that people who designed it were pretty smart. And also, like the entranceway is locked with double metal doors. Like there's two metal doors you have to get through in order to escape. So yeah, apparently there's one person who escaped like a few years ago, but they caught him like trying to swim across the lake, and then they just brought him back. So that I assume was also in the summer. In the winter would be a lot harder too, I assume, because it'd be colder, and then there'd be footprints and less places to hide. So yeah, no one tried escaping. In the evening, we'd all have sort of another sort of community meeting. I don't remember exactly what it was called though, but we would all like talk about how our day was, like how we felt that day, if we met our goals, that sort of thing. After that, we could either go to bed or stay up and like hang out with the other people, or read or write in a journal. Yeah, they gave us journals and encouraged us to write in them. But you couldn't take pens or pencils into your room at night, so you have to either do your writing during the day or do it out sort of in the milieu, which was where we all hung out most of the time. If you stayed up pretty late, around 11, they would come by and ask if you wanted like sandwiches. They offered like 3 different kinds that they make at that time, and it was pretty nice. Oh yeah, and around 8 p.m. they also had like dessert. Yeah, there was plenty of food, but we just couldn't really eat between meals other than Crystal Light. I drank so much Crystal Light there. So as far as staff go, on weekends there's one doctor who kind of comes around and sees everyone. But on weekdays you see your doctor pretty much every day. Unless you've been there for a while, then they kind of see you every other day sort of thing. I first got there Friday, so I saw the doctor on Saturday, and he said that he asked me a bunch of questions about how I was doing while I was there, that sort of thing, what medications I was on, etc. He gave me this test to take called the MMPI, which is a 567 true-false test, and a lot of the questions are really ambiguous and difficult to answer, and I was having some anxiety at the time too, so like I had all weekend to complete it, but it's like, oh, what if I choose the wrong answer? And like I didn't have a pencil, so I was like filling it in a marker. Like, what if I choose the wrong answer? What if I have to change my answer again? Like, some of these questions are so ambiguous, and yeah, it was really long too. Like, it took me kind of all day. Like, I didn't do it continuous, but kind of like I was working on and off for like all day. There's other people who had to take it too, but yeah, it's a really long test. Some of the questions are just like, they're not the exact same, but they're really similar. Just like make sure you're paying attention. It's like, oh, really? And then there were also sort of, there's tons of like nurses and techs that would like do paperwork and stuff, and there was for each like morning shift and then the afternoon evening shift, there was someone called your one-on-one who would like be there if you wanted to talk or something, and they'd like check up on you, make sure you're okay. Yeah, during the night shift you're supposed to be asleep, so they didn't really do that. But yeah, and then there'd also be like a med nurse who would take care of the meds, do all that sort of stuff. People working would also like serve your food to you and basically do everything. You had checks for a staff member who would check in on you every 15 to 30 minutes. And the doors, they would just kind of like slide open if you pushed them, so they could like open them and close them without waking you up or anything. And when we first got there, you were on 15-minute checks. And you have to be on 15-minute checks for the first 24 hours. And then like sort of if you were in the privilege, like by having good behavior, not being a risk, that sort of stuff, they move you to 30-minute checks where they check on you every 30 minutes. And yeah, they check on you and then they just kind of like write something down in their notes. I was curious what they're writing down, so I like really quickly looked at it once and noticed it was just numbers. Like I had no idea what they're writing, but I kind of wanted to know. Another thing, overall it was a pretty nice facility. Like, everything was nice looking. It was a pretty relaxing environment. Like it kind of was really disconnected from the real world because you couldn't have cell phones, you couldn't use the internet without a doctor's note, and even if you used the internet, Facebook was blocked, so you couldn't do that. There were 3 phones that you could use in the unit, but you could only use them at certain times. And you could only call local numbers unless you had spoken to your doctor to get permission to make a long distance call, like if you weren't from the area. But yeah, overall it's a pretty nice place. Except the showers, they made this really loud noise. It was like, I don't know, they weren't the nicest showers in the world. As far as food goes, this food that they had here is considered pretty good for hospital food. Like, the food wasn't great, but on a few days they actually did have food that I liked. So, yeah, according to other people, it's pretty good for what hospital food is generally like. One of the best things about this place was talking to the other patients. But most of them were really nice, and since there was not a whole lot to do, we a lot of the time just kind of hung out with each other and talked with each other. And I made some friends there. Like I exchanged numbers with 3 people, added them on Facebook, and it was really nice to get to know some people. And there were a lot of students from my college actually there too. Surprised me about the number that were there. Yeah, it was pretty nice to make friends, and one of the people there was really nice. Like I was really upset. It was on Sunday, and I was feeling pretty depressed. I was just crying. And she came over and talked to me and comforted me, and I really appreciate that. A lot of the people there were interesting people, and it was fun getting to know them. So yeah, the first few days I was there, I felt pretty depressed. Then they changed up my medications a bit. I was feeling really anxious for the next few days. And then like the last day and a half when I was there, I was feeling really good actually. So it was a really good place for me. It changed how I felt a lot. Like it really helped me feel better quickly, so I was happy about that, definitely. Yeah, there are also other privileges that you could earn. Like if you were there, if you were well behaved and not a risk or anything. For example, one of them that I really liked was the comfort room. And basically this was a room, it was a really nice room. You could go there for 20 minutes at a time. You had like music and headphones and like this little thing, sand and rocks that you could like move around with little rigs. It was kind of fun. And this like basket of beans, and they had a bunch of books and paintings on the walls. It was a really nice place, and you're supposed to go there by yourself, just try to relax, and that was the idea of it. Yeah, it was a really nice place. I definitely enjoyed it. I also had some meetings with my doctor, my one-on-one in there as well. That was a good room. Another privilege you could earn was staff pass, which is where every afternoon right before dinner, one of the staff members would take some of you out for a walk, and you had to get a doctor's note to be able to do this. Basically, yeah, you had to get your shoes back because they took them away because you're not allowed to have shoelaces. because you could hurt yourself with those. And yeah, so they gave your shoes back. You'd stay with a group. You'd go for a walk, usually around other places in the hospital, and then outside the hospital, back in, that sort of thing. And it was nice to get outside after being in there for days. Like, oh, outdoor air. Oh, that was definitely a good thing. And people didn't really try to escape, because they said if you ran, they would just call the police, and you wouldn't really stand a chance against the police. Yeah, pretty much no one could really get away, and no one really wanted to if they were allowed to go and staff fast, because at that point you were doing a bit better and you weren't like at any sort of risk. One of the things they did there is they changed up my medications a bit. They increased the dose of one of mine, got me off of a different one. So I think that changes helped a lot. When they changed it, they also had to teach me some sort of like skills to cope with my anxiety, and I found this really useful and really helpful in helping me relax. And like I've definitely used them here while I've been at school the past few weeks. So that has really helped me a lot. Overall, I had a pretty good experience there, even though I wasn't feeling good most of the time. I really appreciated what they did for me. I appreciated like the other patients who were really nice to me. I made friends with and talked to a lot, and staff who like spent time with me and helped me out and talked to me a lot. And the whole facility was just a pretty nice place. The last few days I've spent time just like kind of walking around back and forth across the unit with some of the friends I had made, and we would just like talk about a lot of different things. It was fun. Well, the last day or so, like I was kind of feeling like, yeah, I'm feeling good now. I should probably get back to school, but I don't really want to. It's so relaxing here. Yeah, it was really relaxing. They did a good job at that. And they told us not to worry about school, because they would send out, like, the health center would send out, like, a message to my professors, like, and so they give me an extension of homework and that sort of thing. So I didn't need to worry about that. When I left, I was feeling pretty good. But overall, it was a good experience. It definitely helped me. And yeah, if anyone ever needs to go to a hospital or anything, don't be afraid of it. Like, the people there are nice, they'll do everything they can to help you. And yes, you will be miserable there for part of the time, but they do their best to help you out. And even though they do sort of limit some of the stuff you can do, it's for people's safety, and they monitor you, yes, but that's also for everyone's safety. Make sure no one's like hurting himself or anything, or doing anything dangerous, and make sure you're still alive and all that. Yeah, I was really excited to leave, because I'd been in there for a week, so I left on February 7th, on Friday a week after I'd gone in. And yeah, I was excited to leave, but the same way I would definitely miss everyone there. And yeah, it was, my memories of the place will be good. My memories of the place will be good. And after that, I had an appointment at the health center with, I had an appointment at the health center at my school, just to like make sure that I'm doing alright, so I'm going. And then the week after, and then I had to email like the office, the advising office, and they sent out a message to my professors and stuff. I talked with my professors. They gave me extensions on homeworks and that sort of thing. That helped me. And then I caught up on stuff. I've been feeling pretty good since. I hope, like, if you were interested at all what psych ward is like, or you're wondering what my experiences were, I hope this helped. And if you have any more questions, yeah, I'll answer them. So just let me know, and I hope you're doing well. Okay, bye.